Hey everyone, this is Oblivion Fall. I'm the lead animator for NightFalls Studios, and with me here I have Sean. Say hi, Sean.
Hello, I am the lead animator for DAGames, and I am an occasional assistant for NightFalls Studios.
Basically, we're going to be looking at the time-lapse footage, and we're going to be giving a little bit of a commentary. I did, pretty much everything that I contributed, you kind of see in the time-lapse, because I'm the only one who recorded.
Yep.
Sean, however, helped out with the backgrounds. He did a lot of the props, I don't know, explain what you did, Sean.
I specifically worked on props. I did not have anything to do with the actual backdrops themselves. I created things like telescopes and graphs and charts and things like that.
And the sciencey equipment, yeah.
The sciencey equipment, yes.
Alright, so the very first thing you'll see me doing is you'll see me making this rough kind of shape. Basically, that's what I'm going to be using for the borders, where, as you'll notice in a couple of camera shots, you'll see, the edges of the screen look like they're rushing past. Now you can see me working on the door.
And you try to create freaking smear frames.
Yeah, you'll see that in a second. What you'll see right here, though, is you'll see me messing around with some of the props, trying to make them jump. The ones at the top left, like the different colored pots and stuff, those aren't actually in the animation. I actually spent a lot of time making them jump up when the door opens, but you can't even see them in shot because of how it was laid out. So it was a bit of a waste of time, but oh well, I don't regret it.
All the work in progress swifts that you were sending, I didn't even see that or notice that. So that should be an indication that it probably wasn't necessary.
Yeah. Also, pay attention to the shape of Pinkie Pie's belly here, because it looks horrible.
It's bad. It's really bad. You had to fix that 3/4 in the way of production.
Yeah. The opening shot we had a lot of changes to later. Now, something interesting to notice, you'll see how I use this a few times in the video, is the spinning backdrop behind Pinkie Pie here, the yellow one. That's actually taken from the NightFalls Studio update animation. Originally it was pink, but I changed it because I didn't think the pink looked good here. I thought yellow would work.
Yeah, you needed a contrast between the color of her skin and the actual backdrop itself.
Yeah. I actually did it yellow because it's one of the balloons in her cutie mark. Similarly, the other backdrop color I use is blue, again, because it matches her cutie mark.
I didn't even notice that detail.
Yeah. And here you see me making one of the backdrops. That was actually taken from an old commission I did that I never finished. And the reason it's not finished is because the guy I was making it for he keeps needing changes to it, and the project's not even ready yet, so I can't even technically finish it.
Yeah. Another thing to notice is that when Pinkie says the world's going to end, the original line was 30 seconds.
Yeah, that's another thing. We did a lot of re-recording for this animation, which is a first, because usually we just record, we have the final script ready, and then we just go everything like a regular pipeline. But for this video, because of all the fourth wall breaking, we needed Pinkie Pie to be able to reference a bunch of things about the video, some of which we didn't know until the video was pretty much finished. If, for example, the length of the video, I thought it was going to be around 30 seconds, it turned out to be over a minute long, but coincidentally, at the exact time Pinkie Pie says that line, there's exactly 30 seconds left of the animated portion. So, 60 seconds instead of I don't know, 61 seconds or something. By the way, Sieg Heil.
One thing I want to point out that was addressed in the comments a lot is people are going, it doesn't actually, the video itself doesn't actually end in 60 seconds. Yes, the full video doesn't, but the moment where Twilight and Pinkie get caught off does. So in the context of their interactions and them being in the video, yes, it actually does end in 60 seconds, so it actually is a valid point.
If you want to think about it in a more morbid sense, you could say they don't live to see the credits.
Yep.
They die.
That's one way
When the screen goes black, they're dead. I'm sorry. Equestria is gone. Well, all that's left is floating text, which I'm pretty sure if Pinkie was still alive, she'd be wondering what a Patreon was. And there'd be no one to tell her what it is. That's actually an idea. We actually thought of putting that in as a line at the end, but I don't know. I tried writing the script for it, and I didn't like how it sounded, so I'm like, I'll just stick to regular music. I'm not going to have Pinkie Pie talking in the credits.
Yeah, I don't think you needed to.
Oh, yeah. Oh, here you can see me refactoring some mouth shapes. That's something I do a lot in every time-lapse video that I'll post, including future ones. You'll see me refactoring stuff a lot, because I used to be an idiot who used the brush tool until my good friend Sean over here showed me the light.
Yep, I remember specifically being in a Skype call where I was screen sharing progress of a video I was working on. I don't even remember what it was. And I was vectoring something, and he was like, "Oh my god, how are you able to get so much control over your lines and everything?" And I'm like, "That's because I'm using the line tool." And he's like, "Oh, that's a thing?"
Yeah, it is. Sean's helped me out a lot. Again, if you've seen a cult classic, Sean actually did a lot of the bass lip syncing for that, which I cleaned up later because I know. The thing of Sean is, Sean, you're really good at like making snappy movements, where I'm really good at making things smooth, and so I'll usually let something that we sometimes do is I'll usually let Sean take over like the main lip sync, and then I'll just like clean it up later and like make it a little bit more polished. Basically
doing in-betweenings.
Yeah, I'm really good at polishing. That's like my main forte with this show style kind of animation. Now, something you'll notice in the background is those graphs behind Pinky. Sean just did the bass, but I am the one who actually drew on top of them. And if you're not sure what that is, when we were looking at the background references, we noticed that there were red, blue, and green lines crisscrossing on the graphs, and we realized that that is actually a form of like animation. That's like a type of animation language, I guess you could call it. It's called a graph editor. It's what 3D animators use. Yeah, it's what 3D animators use to basically move 3D models. You get basically when something moves around in 3D space, its position is recorded, and they can draw it on a graph, and then by messing with the graph, like if you can make the lines of the graph smooth, you'll actually make the animation smooth too, which is something really cool. It's like a really sciencey way of looking at animation. So we put that in since we realized it was probably like an Easter egg in the show or something. By the way, here you can see me changing the font, by the way. That's something I had to do a lot for this project.
Oh yeah, we spent like half an hour to 45 minutes just looking for various fonts, because the one you were using originally did not fit at all.
Yeah, also notice Twilight's hoof in that shot we just went past. You probably won't see it here because it's only 720p of this recording, but in the actual video, her hoof looks really jagged. It's not really smooth. I should probably have refactored it with the light. Again, that's probably something I did with the brush tool a long time ago that I reused. I should have gone over with the line tool to make it smoother. Yeah.
Well, you were trying to get the video done in a short amount of time, so can't really blame you.
Well, by the time I noticed it, I'd already rendered out the first half of the video, so at that point I was like, ugh, oh crap, like, because it was like, I didn't notice it until like the day we were uploading. At that point I'm like, there's so much other stuff I have to do today, I'll just let that slide.
Speaking of rendering, you should explain a little bit of the process of making this happen.
Oh yeah, so something we did for this is, the big thing about this video, well, first of all, you can see me revectoring the back of Twilight's hair here. I know I had the back of it, I know I had this angle of her hair on a cult classic, but it actually looked really bad because again, I drew it with the brush tool. So I had to revector it with the line tool there, which you got to see me do. But yeah, how do we do this? Basically what we did was we split the video into 3 parts. Because basically, if you want to put the idea in the video, you have to change the video after you start uploading, and that's not an easy thing to do. Basically, our friend Dylan gave us a cool script, which basically lets us, I guess it creates like a fake buffer, which is like, I guess it like pretends to be a video, and YouTube thinks that there's an upload going on when actually nothing's happening. And what you can do in that time is it'll give you the URL for what the video is going to be, and then if you're really quick, you can edit one part of your video and put the URL in there. So the beginning of the animation and the ending of the animation, like the credits, those were already done, those were completely rendered. It's the same reason why I didn't go back and change Twilight's hoof in that one shot, because, well, we'd already rendered that out of Premiere. It would be a lot of work to go and change that. The only thing we have time to change are the 2 shots where the idea is present, and that's the line where Pinkie Pie reads the idea out loud, and you see it in the text, and also the shot where it's written on Twilight's forehead. And because that's just 2 really short camera shots, we could render that out in like 1 minute. And so basically, we started the fake upload thing through this script we got, which we executed through command prompt, by the way. It actually accesses your YouTube account without you needing to be signed in using some special authorization code that you have to create. It's really tricky stuff. I don't even know how that part was really done. Dylan just walked me through it, but yeah, so what we did is we ran the script, gave us the ID, we modified the middle section of the video, and then we rendered that out and uploaded it. And you'll notice that because when you see me working on the shot with the YouTube ID, you'll notice that there's actually a different YouTube ID in the shot. And if you're wondering what the YouTube ID that you're gonna see here is, it doesn't lead to anything. I just made it up.
Yep.
So
it was just a random set of characters that you figured, oh, that's easy to record and say.
yeah, it's easy to record and say, and I had to have a placeholder recording for Kagome. Here you can see me redrawing with stomach, by the way. Also, here you can see me revectoring a book, again, because I drew that book using the brush tool a long time ago, and I had to remake it with the line tool again.
You pleb.
I was such a pleb. Now Pinkie Pie's stomach looks normal, but yeah. Also, when you saw me making that blue background for Twilight, similar to the one Pinkie Pie has, I accidentally recolored the background for the entire project, so it ended up being blue for all of Pinkie Pie's parts as well. So I had to like go back and recolor Pinkie Pie's parts yellow again.
Yeah, when you're working on big projects like this, you tend to lose track of what symbols are what, and like that's the thing. When you're working on a Flash file, you really need to pay attention to how you name your symbols and which specific symbols are being used, and if you're not, then you can accidentally overwrite the data of a previously existing symbol.
Yeah, exactly. Now the issue that I made is that I made a new symbol to do that in, but I made the changes to the original by accident. I'm like, here's a new symbol, I'm gonna color it blue, but I accidentally colored the original blue, and then the new symbol wasn't the one that I ended up using for the original shot, so it just didn't work. But yeah, that, you just saw the URL that I put in. That, again, as I mentioned, that URL is just a placeholder. Now, the reason I did the glitchy text for that URL is because Kagome was going to need to re-record that line when we uploaded it, and we actually had to re-record it more than once, because the first URL we got I didn't like very much, and also I made some mistakes while editing it, and the time ran out too long and the upload didn't work, so... Because you have a really short window of time to do this in, by the way. I think you've only got about 15 minutes where you have to make the new video. That's why you have to render it so quickly. But yeah, part of the reason we did the glitchy text is because throughout most of the animation, I was very careful to make sure that each word popped up exactly as Pinkie and Twilight said it. But for that line, because it was going to get re-recorded, there was no guarantee that the timing would be accurate. I didn't want to have to change the timing after the fact. So by making it glitchy, the timing is sort of unclear, which means that you can have a slightly different version of a line where it's said differently, and the timing would still work, basically. Because the letters are like flashing in and out, you know, you've got a bit of a time window, where as long as the line is sort of said within the same time frame, it'll sound good.
Yep.
So yeah. Here you can see me putting a little shadow on, again, using the line tool. The line tool's so useful, thanks for getting me into that, Sean.
You're welcome. Like, you shiver looking at previous things you've done because you see all of the access vector points and you just, like, need to get rid of all of them.
Yeah.
You actually did that a couple times here, like, you were creating, like, different mouth shapes for Pinkie in one shot.
Yeah. Oh, and it's over. So that's the thing. Yeah, so that's kind of a whole time lapse. I'm just going to quickly show you a few more things, because it turns out there are some backgrounds that didn't even make it into the final video. This background here was one that I had Sean do, which he spent like, how long? Like a couple of hours on it, didn't you?
Yeah, only a couple of hours. It didn't take too long, and I rushed to the very end of it because I had to go somewhere.
Yeah, so Sean basically made the telescope for this shot. Well, it didn't end up being a shot in the end, and I vectored the floor, which was a pain in the ass. It took me like 3 hours. And yeah, we ended up not using this shot at all because, I don't know, I couldn't fit it in. I thought of using it for the whole universe is just a simulation. I was going to have like some top-down angle and it was going to zoom out, but I kind of thought it would be better to focus on Pinkie Pie's facial expression there. And as a result, I didn't really get to find any other place for it. So I guess it just ended up being unused, and you can see it here. This is like the only place you'll ever see it, probably. unless I use it in a new animation.
Which you could, potentially. And it's not like we lost a lot of hours of work. It didn't take that long to make anyway, so...
Yeah, we spent about a week on backgrounds and then another week doing literally everything else, so yeah.
I spent like 2 days doing everything that I did.
And real quick, I'm going to bring up one more thing. There was one shot, we didn't talk about it during the first run through, but actually here, this is actually a shot that was completely scrapped. One of the shots we did, where it's the one where Twilight was seen from behind. I spent all that time revectoring her hair for it and everything, and I ended up not using it because in the end I decided, I don't know, I don't like how it looks, and it's a shame because I revectored not only the back of Twilight's hair, but I made Pinkie Pie's hair from scratch for the back view.
Yep.
I kind of wanted her to be looking down at the floor kind of sad or something, but it was really hard to like kind of show the viewer which direction Pinkie Pie is looking in when you can't see her face. So I ended up just scrapping that entire camera shot in the end.
Also, it wouldn't have really worked because of the fact that the shot that had to precede that would have had to be still from the back view, but her looking behind, which did not end up being the shot that occurred right after that. It ended up being the shot
exactly
afterwards. So... it wouldn't have made sense continuity-wise.
No, exactly. That's the thing. With these comic adaptation kind of things, I just kind of wing it. I don't really have a plan going in. I just write the script, record it, and just make it up as I go. Which I feel when you do that, you get a really nice sense of flow. Like things just kind of flow naturally because you think of them as you go. You know. For now, this is me. I'm gonna go. Say goodbye. Say goodbye, Sean.
Bye, plebs.
Bye. Also, check out DAGames. Sean does animation stuff for them. It's pretty cool. I'll put a link in the description. Okay, bye.